dedicated their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. So today, as you can see, I'm all dressed up as a buttercup. Today we are going to be reviewing the Colourpop and Powerpuff Girls collection. When I saw this collection, I was so excited because last year over on my Instagram, I actually did a Powerpuff Girls theme, and when I was doing that theme, I could totally see Colourpop releasing a Powerpuff Girl collection, and here we are in 2021. They have the Powerpuff Girl collection. I feel like there's no other better brand that Powerpuff Girls could have collabed with for this collection. So I did get sent this in PR and I'll be reviewing everything for you today. So if you guys are curious about the collection, you would like to see swatches, comparisons, I did 3 looks inspired by each of the girls, of course. If you're interested in any of that, I will have timestamps, but let's go ahead and hop into my review. Okay, let me just break down the collection first because this is a really big collection. So first up, if you want to buy the entire collection, it is $115 US. Within that collection, there is a 12 pan eyeshadow palette. This is $22 US. It does come with a mirror, and also to note that this is in their 12 pan packaging, but it's actually a little bit bigger. The pan size is much bigger than their regular pan size. There are also 2 pressed blushes, and these are $12 US. They are in this beautiful heart shaped in the compact, which is super cute because you guys know I'm obsessed with anything heart shaped. There's also 3 color sticks after each villain, and these are $7 US, and then there is a roller gloss set after each of the Powerpuff Girls, and this is $24, but you can only buy this in the set. You can't buy these individually, unfortunately. And then from Soul Body, we have their bubble bath bar. This is $9 US, and then from Fourth Ray Beauty, we have this lip mask kit, and there's 2 scents, and this is $20 US. And then lastly, you can purchase these little hair clips after each of the girls, and this is $5 US. But Colourpop does offer like a lot of bundles, so you can get the Blossom set, the Bubble set, the Buttercup set, where you can save a bit more money if there's just certain things that you do want. So that is always an option. And I also do have an affiliated code with Colourpop. It is just my name, Judy, for 10% off at checkout. I do receive a small commission if you do use my code, and just thank you always for anyone that does use my code. No pressure, it's just always there for you if you would like to save a bit of money. It does work on this collection. Let's go ahead and start with the reviews. I'm just going to talk about each product individually, then we'll move into the looks. Again, there will be timestamps, so nobody can say I talk too much, but yes. Okay, let's talk about the eyeshadow palette first. This is called the Powerpuff Girls palette, but my first impressions on this palette, I was happy, but I was a little disappointed because I feel like with Colourpop and a lot of their colorful palettes, for some reason, they always skip out on the red. And when I think of Blossom, I think of red. I know she wears a pink dress but a red ribbon, so she could be pink or red, but they just like completely skipped out on red, and I feel like that would have been a great opportunity. Even with their mega rainbow palette, Fade into Hue, they completely skipped out on a red section. I have heard from like bigger creators that have like developed eyeshadows and stuff, they say that red eyeshadow is really hard to pull off, but it's not like that Colourpop can't do it because they do have red palettes. They have Main Squeeze, why not? They can do it, but I'm like, why didn't they? And I do get why they didn't, because I think with a lot of their collabs, they want to make it where a lot of people could wear. What I would have liked is if, you know, we have 3 rows here. If one row was like red and pinks, one row was blue, and then one row was green, I feel like that would embody Powerpuff Girls a little bit more, but I understand why they added more like lighter shades and more neutral shades, so that way people wouldn't be as intimidated. So I totally understand why. But for me personally, I feel like if it was like Powerpuff Girls, I would have loved like a row of red, a row of blue, a row of green, and they could have done something like that. I don't know. But nonetheless, that's just what I would have wanted. That's just my opinion. But using the palette, I really did like this palette. I wouldn't say like I was so inspired. I think when it just comes to these kind of colorful shades, I just have so much of this. It's sort of repetitive, but you know, it's still cute. But I did have a lot of fun with this palette. I think it was more like just recreating Blossom, Buttercup, Bubbles looks and styling all of that, like adding in my fake bangs. That was more fun than being more inspired by the palette. But that is just my personal opinion, and I did enjoy the palette, but I don't think it's one that I would be like, you guys gotta have this, it's so good. But yeah, this one was just a so-so palette for me. I did enjoy it, but it wasn't like my favorite palette that I used this year from Colourpop. So of course, like always, I will put my comparisons on the screen for you guys so you can see what you already have in your collection, because I'm sure a lot of you guys will probably already have some of these shades. And I do want to also note that there is 2 pressed glitters in here, so that's just something to be mindful of. Okay, next in the collection we have the 2 pressed blushes, and these, when I saw these, I was the most excited for this. You know what I would really love if Colourpop came out in this collection? You know how they sell their handheld mirrors now? Imagine if they made a handheld mirror in the shape of the heart with that iconic background of Powerpuff Girls after they saved the day. But anyway, these are the pressed blushes, super cute. We have 2 shades, and inside the compact we have the heart-shaped mirror and then also the heart-shaped blush inside. And I've mentioned so many times that I love anything heart-shaped, so when I saw these were like the things that I really wanted. Like if I wasn't gonna get sent this collection in PR, I would have just bought the blushes myself because I just need everything heart-shaped. But you guys know I love the pressed blush formula. It's one of my favorite blushes to wear. These shades in my collection aren't really so outstanding, especially this one, Fighting Crime. I feel like I have a lot of these kind of bright fuchsia pinks in my collection, so this one didn't really bring anything much into my collection. This one as well, it's just like, you know, your typical corally orange, which do look really pretty on the cheeks. I will definitely put up some comparisons for you guys, but if you have something similar, I don't think it's necessary, but for me, it's like more of the cuteness and the packaging that's really getting me. And next in the collection we have 3 color sticks. These are based on each villain, and all of these are in a metallic finish. The color sticks are sort of like a newer formulation, and honestly I really had to force myself to use these sticks. I don't really know where to add them in the looks. I'm just not a person that uses a lot of like cream products or stick products unless it like makes such a huge difference into my look, but I didn't find that these really did, and I just really had to like think, where am I going to use these pencils within my look? But that definitely is a personal preference. Like I know some people would love this. I just had difficulty figuring out like where to use it, how to use it, but they did blend out really well, and they do have nice like micro glitters in there, so they're not like bad products. I just couldn't think of how to really use it. And the last makeup item in the collection we have are their roller glosses. So like I mentioned earlier, you can only buy this in a set, so there's one after each girl, and essentially you don't really need 3 because they are all just clear glosses. Like none of them have like a tint to it. It really is just the packaging. The only difference between the 3 are the scents, and the scents are so good. Like honestly, I'm not like a really big fan of this roller gloss concept. It does bring back a lot of nostalgia for me because this was like all I had as a kid. Like I love this as a kid, but like it's not something I would really wear. It's really for the novelty and the nostalgia. But the scents, I love the scents. Okay, let me try to describe the scents to you. Blossom's one is definitely watermelon. Bubbles one, I'm gonna say, is like pear. Buttercup one is my favorite scent. This one is straight up apple. Oh, it smells so good, like apple candy. So for the scents, makes me like it more because it's just so delicious, and like when you just put it on your lips, it just smells so good. So that was pretty much the entire collection and my thoughts on everything. This video is gonna be so long, so with that being said, let's just go ahead and hop into my 3 looks inspired by each of the Powerpuff Girls. So starting off with Blossom's look, I'm gonna take the color stick in the shade Him, and I'm gonna just apply this at the outer corners of my eyes, sort of as a base. I didn't really know what to do with this color stick, but I did want to incorporate it into my look somehow, so I'm just gonna work it as a base. Even though it is a metallic, I think it does give a little bit more dimension to the eye look. Be easy to blend out, and I do think it does work really great as an eyeshadow base. But then going into the palette, I'm gonna take the shade Pokey Oats, and I'm gonna use this as my transition shadow, just sweeping that straight into my crease using windshield wiping motions. I feel like using this shadow on top of that color stick really helped to enhance that pink undertone. So I'm also gonna take Pokey Oats onto my lower lash line as well. I'm just gonna sweep that from the outer corner right to the inner corner. Next, taking the shade Girls Rock, I'm gonna start working this shadow at the outer corners of my eyes, just stamping it on first, and then I'll slowly use more circular motions to get this blended out. This layers really well on top. It's a nice bright orange, corally orange. This is just going to add more dimension to the eye look, and I think this pop of orange does represent Blossom's hair. And now taking the shade The Fashionistas, I'm gonna apply this at the center of my eyes right next to Girls Rock. Doing the same thing, just stamping that on first to get the pigmentation, and then blending that up with circular motions into my crease. And again, this shadow is very bright. You could even say it's a little neon, but I feel like it layers on really well. And I also take that onto my lower lash line, just mainly at the outer corner. I take it on a defining brush, but then I end up going in with my blending brush to just really like blow that out. And next, taking the shade Frenemy, I'm gonna apply this right at the inner third of my eyes, diffusing it out around the crease. I don't want any harsh lines, no cut creases for this look, just very blown out and diffused. I also take this into my inner corners and also on the lower lash line at the inner third as well, just to really highlight that inner part. And now I'm just taking a really dark purple eyeshadow to create my wing. Just because this palette didn't have a lot of dark shadows, I had to go in with my own palette. But you could use a black, you could use a brown, you could skip this. It's really up to you. I just personally love a wing, and especially when I am wearing false lashes. And then I'm just gonna pop on my false lashes. I am wearing Fairy Dust from Doe Lashes. But now onto the cheeks, I'm taking the pressed powder blush in the shade Fighting Crime, and I'm gonna apply this directly to the apples of my cheeks, and I'm actually gonna blend it up into my temples and almost connect it with the outer corner shadow, just to get a really full-on over blush look. I even take some to the tip of my nose as well, and I really love the color of this. I think it suits the eye look perfectly. As for the lips, I'm just going to take a bit of my Luxe Velvet Liquid Lipstick in the shade Air Kiss, and I'm just going to blot this out just so I can get like a sheer color on my lips, because we're going to take the roller gloss in the shade Blossom, and I'm just going to apply this on top of Air Kiss. Because these roller glosses pretty much are clear, I just wanted some base underneath that gloss, so I went for Air Kiss, which is one of my favorites. And this is the Blossom look completed. I really like how it turned out. It's giving me a lot of summer vibes. We have a lot of vibrant oranges and pinks, but I really like the combination of everything. I think everything performed well, so I hope you guys enjoyed this first Blossom look as well. Now onto Bubbles' look. I'm going to start off with the shade of Crime Fighting, and I'm just going to work this shadow as a base color. So I'm just going to apply that all over my lid and into my crease. Crime Fighting on me is just slightly deeper than my skin tone, so it does work as a good like light wash of color all over the lids. I also take this onto my lower lash line as well. Next, I'm taking the shade Rowdy Rough Boys, and I'm going to take this on an angle brush and start creating creating my wing like how I normally do. I'm creating a fairly dramatic wing, but I like to start small and then slowly build on that. And I go in with like a dome shaped brush as well to help blend and smoke out that wing, because I do want it to be quite diffused, because then I'm going to go in with a black eyeshadow and I'm going to create just a wing along the lash line, so that way when I wear my false lashes it can blend in a little bit easier. But it's going to look like a normal black wing with blue smudged out from it. I feel like it's a really nice simple way to incorporate color into your makeup look, and it's also really easy to do as well. So next I'm going to be taking a Townsville and Super Friends. I'm going to mix these two pressed glitters together to highlight my inner corners, and I'm just sort of diffusing this out in my inner corners. I'm like blowing out the shadows over there, and I'm also taking it into the inner third of my lower lash line. Since the Townsville glitter has more yellow and gold, I feel like that represents Bubbles' blonde hair, and then Super Friends is the blue glitter, and that of course just represents Bubbles, and it also does complement the blue wing as well. And then to complete this super simple eye look, I'm going to go ahead and pop on my false lashes. Today I'm wearing Honey from Petite Cosmetics. And now onto the cheeks, I'm taking the pressed powder blush in the shade Saving the World, and we're just going to apply that to the apples of our cheeks and blend it back into our bronzer. And as for my lip combo, once again I'm just taking Air Kiss, the Luxe Velvet Liquid Lipstick, and I'm just going to blot that all over my lips, and then just take the Bubbles Roller Gloss and apply that directly on top. And this, you guys, is Bubbles' look completed. It is a very simple eye look, but I still feel like it's quite impactful. Just with the blue wing, and I just want to do something a little bit different and just use a different technique to show you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Bubbles look. I really like how it turned out. So now on to Buttercup's look. I'm going to start off with the shade Pokey Oats, and this is going to be our transitional slash base color. I just wanted some kind of warmth to my eye look, just to add a little bit more dimension and contrast, and I think it works great as a base color. And now going into the shade Silly Core, I'm going to start packing this shade at the outer corners of my eyes, just really stamping on the product to get the pigmentation there, and then I'll start slowly blending that out using more circular motions. I did experience a little bit of patchiness with this neon green. I have had a similar experience with some of their other neon greens that were a little bit patchy. This one's not too bad, but you do have to sort of work and maneuver to get this even. And now I'm just taking the color stick in Mojo Jojo, and we're going to take this on a really small blending brush, and I'm just going to take some product onto the brush and then apply it directly to the center of my eyes. This is more of like a lime green metallic, and I think just placing it at the center is going to help catch the light and also just add a little bit more dimension to our eye look, because then we'll go into the shade Chemical X in the palette and place that at the inner third of our eyes. I take a little bit to the inner corners, but mainly at the inner third, and blending that into the color stick. You can tell there's a difference between the undertones of the green. Chemical X definitely has more of like a yellow olive undertone to it. And then lastly, taking the Maya, we're going to use this to highlight our inner corners and also at the inner third of our lower lash line. This is a really nice like medium tone gold, and I think it blends really well into those greens. So now just to complete the look, I'm going to go in with my brown liquid liner, and I'm just going to use this to map out my wing, and then I'll go in with a brown eyeshadow to smudge and extend that wing out. Finally, just popping on my false lashes. Today I'm wearing the Boudoir Lights from House of Lashes. And now onto the cheeks, I'll be taking the pressed powder blush in the shade Saving the World, applying that to the apples of my cheeks and blending that back into my bronzer. As for my lip color, I'm taking my Just a Tint lip crayon in the shade Rise or Shine as my base, and then going in with the roller gloss in Blossom and applying that directly on top. And this, you guys, is the final buttercup look. I love how the eye look turned out. I love this hairstyle as well. I feel like it's a little bit different from what I usually do, but I really love how this final look turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. Alright guys, so those were my 3 looks inspired by each of the Powerpuff Girls. I would love to know which look out of the 3 was your favorite. Which Powerpuff Girl is your favorite? I would love to know, what do you guys think of the collection? Leave me your thoughts down below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy this video and you found it helpful, if you could give it a thumbs up for me, I would appreciate it so much if you did. And with that being said guys, thank you so much for watching as always. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!